They looked at you and made a choice, a judgment, a label. They said you wouldn't rise, that you couldn't handle it, that you were too small, too weak, too ordinary. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still sharp enough to notice their eyes when they thought you weren't watching. And oh, they're watching now. Every move you make, every word you speak, every quiet little victory that they can't explain. They're trying to justify it, aren't they? Their choices, their mistakes, their cowardice. It wasn't me, they whisper. It was the circumstances. It was fate. It was you. No, no, no. They're running out of excuses, and deep down they know it. Because deep down they saw you, the real you, the one they claimed didn't exist. They felt your fire, they heard your silence, and they were wrong, dead wrong. You see, there's a strange kind of power in being underestimated. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it doesn't make headlines, but it burns in the dark corners of your mind, growing sharper with every sneer, every sideways glance, every whisper meant to break you. And every time they dismiss you, every time they say you'll never, you feel it. That spark, that tension, that whisper inside that says, just wait. The irony is delicious. All those who tried to explain to you, rationalize their choices, justify their failures, they built a ladder for you without even knowing it. Every attempt to control you, every attempt to box you in, every time they pointed fingers and said you were too much, too little, too something, they handed you the map. And now, you know the way. They want to make it fair. They want to balance the scales. They want to be right about everything except this, you. Their rules don't touch you. Their reasoning crumbles when you move the pieces. Because here's the truth, they'll never admit they were wrong about you. And being wrong, well, it's delicious when it's in your favor. No one wants to see someone rise. They count it out. No one wants to see the quiet ones carry storms in their chest. No one wants to see the underestimated outsmart, outlast, outmaneuver. But that's the beauty. That's the thrill. That's the edge. Every sneer, every doubt, every tiny shove meant to keep you down, it's fuel, it's fire. And the ones who once laughed, they're just witnesses now. Yes, you feel it, don't you? That tension in your chest, that hunger, that bitter, sharp smile forming at the corner of your mind. It's not revenge. No, it's clarity. It's purpose. It's proof. Every move you make, every quiet triumph, every small act of brilliance, they were wrong about you, about what you could endure, about what you could become. And soon, oh, very soon, they'll have no choice but to see it. Because the world is always trying to justify itself. People justify their failures, their choices, their limits. They cling to reasons, excuses, explanations. But you don't need justification. You don't need to explain. You don't need anyone to understand. You just need to move. Just need to act. Just need to show up in ways they never imagined. Every step forward, every risk, every boundary you break, they crumble, and it's exquisite. No, no, no. Don't tell me you've forgotten what it felt like. The feeling of being dismissed, of being told, you're not ready, you're not strong enough, you're not meant for this. That sting is your compass. That sting is the fuel. That sting tells you who's serious and who's just scared. And you've learned something they'll never admit. Being underestimated is a weapon, a gift, a sign that you're about to change the rules. So, take a deep breath, look around, feel it. That tension, that dark undercurrent, it's your ally. And the next time they try to explain you away, justify their actions, make sense of your rise, smile. Because they were wrong. They were very, very wrong. And you're just getting started. They watch you now, and they're confused. Every step you take is a question mark in their minds. Every choice you make is a challenge to their so-called logic. And oh, it's delicious. Can you see it? Their eyes flicker with doubt. Their words stumble. Their excuses start to crumble like dry paper in the wind. You don't have to do anything spectacular. You don't have to shout. You don't even need to announce your victory. You just have to exist and move. Ah, the irony. All those who tried to define you, to contain you, to put a limit on your potential, they created a stage where you are the main act, and they, the audience. The louder they try to justify their choices, the clearer it becomes. They feared you, they feared what you could become. They feared the possibility that someone they wrote off might rise and rise beyond them. Here's the truth. No one will ever give you the credit you deserve. No one will ever hand you the acknowledgement you crave. They will cling to excuses, rationalizations, and it's not fair thinking. They will justify their failure to see you clearly. And that is your advantage. Because while they are busy explaining to you, you are busy evolving. You are busy becoming the one they never predicted. Do you feel that? That tension in the air, the subtle panic creeping into their thoughts? No, no, no. Don't underestimate it. That panic is your signal. That confusion is your proof. That moment when their carefully constructed walls begin to shake, that's your opening. Every doubt they cast on you becomes a ladder. Every sneer becomes a step. Every whispered word of disbelief is a spark in the fire you carry. Yes, it's intoxicating, isn't it? The realization that they cannot stop you. That all their reasoning, all their rationalizations, all their explanations are meaningless in the face of someone who knows their own power. You don't need their approval. You don't need their understanding. You only need your focus, your will, your drive. And right now, it's sharper than ever. The world will try to justify mediocrity. People will cling to comfort. People will explain away risks. But not you. You're different. You've been underestimated. You've been pushed aside. You've been doubted. And now you are armed with the one thing they cannot grasp: clarity. Every choice you make from here on out is a message. Every step forward is proof. Every moment you refuse to conform is a strike against their assumptions. Isn't it funny how life works? Those who cast stones, who judged too quickly, who tried to explain away your presence, they thought they were in control. They thought they were safe. But in truth, they handed you the blueprint for their own defeat. Every miscalculation, every underestimation, every failure to recognize you, it all becomes part of your arsenal. And now, armed with knowledge, patience, and resolve, you are untouchable in the sense that matters, in action. No, no, no. Don't slow down, don't hesitate. Don't allow even a second of doubt to creep in, because hesitation is their ally. Momentum is yours. Every move, every choice, every decision you make carries weight. Every action compounds. Every small victory grows into inevitability. And the ones who once laughed, who once tried to explain you away, they'll only watch, powerless, as the truth unfolds. Ah, the sweetness of it. So rise, not for them, not for validation, not for recognition. Rise because you were underestimated. Rise because they were wrong. Rise because you can. And in every moment of tension, every moment of doubt, every glance of disbelief aimed at you, remember this: the world will always try to justify itself. But you don't need justification. You only need action. And action is yours. Now it's time to strike. Time to act. Time to show the world what happens when they doubt, when they dismiss, when they claim you're not enough. Every sneer, every sideways glance, every whisper of disbelief, they've all been lining you up for this moment. And you are ready. Every heartbeat, every quiet plan, every calculated move, it's all been leading here. Ah, can you feel it? That tension, that sharp edge slicing through the air, that's your cue. No. Don't hold back. Don't wait for permission. Don't stand in the shadows of their judgment any longer. You are the storm they didn't anticipate. The one they labeled, boxed, explained away. And now you're a force they can't ignore. Every step you take shakes the ground beneath their certainty. Every word you speak challenges their assumptions. Every act dismantles their reasoning. It's almost poetic, isn't it? They wanted to see you fail. They wanted explanations, excuses, justifications. They wanted control. But look at you. Look at this moment. Every fear they planted in your path, every doubt they whispered in the dark, you turned it into fuel. You turned it into clarity. You turned it into inevitability. And oh, they're watching. Ah, yes. Let them watch. Let them squirm. Let them try to explain it. They'll never make sense of it. They'll never rationalize how someone they dismissed became unstoppable in the ways that matter. They can argue, debate, justify, but their words are empty. Because action speaks louder than any excuse. And action is your language, your weapon, your signature. Do you see it now? The path is yours. Every misjudgment, every underestimation, every attempt to explain you away, it's your advantage. Every step forward, every calculated risk, every defiance of expectation, it compounds, it grows, it sharpens. And when they try to speak, when they try to claim reason, when they try to rationalize, silence, silence. Because they know, deep down, they were wrong. And the truth of that, the truth of your rise, it's unstoppable. No. Don't stop. Don't pause. Don't let their disbelief slow you. Momentum is your ally. Tension is your fuel. Every move, every choice, every moment is a statement. And the statement is this: they underestimated you. They tried to justify their own limitations at your expense. And now you are rewriting the rules. Now you are reshaping what's possible. Ah, the thrill of it. It's intoxicating. That dark, sharp clarity in your mind. The knowledge that every doubt cast your way, every assumption about you, every attempt to explain your limits, it's all crumbling. Every sneer, every whisper, every sideways glance, It's just part of the backdrop to your rise. And you move through it with precision, with power, with inevitability. So go. Step into the light. They tried to deny you. Step into the arena they thought you'd never reach. Step into your own story, your own power, your own truth. Feel it. That energy, that tension, that awareness that they were wrong. They were very wrong. And now the world watches, and you move, and you win. And every justification, every excuse, every attempt to rationalize fades in the shadow of your action. Remember this, always. The underestimated, the dismissed, the doubted, they rise in silence. They move in the shadows. They act where no one expects. And when the moment arrives, when the tension breaks, when your truth emerges, everyone who was wrong will know you are more than they imagined, more than they justified, more than they could ever explain. And the power of being underestimated, it's yours forever. Now it all becomes clear. Every doubt they planted, every label they slapped on you, every sideways glance meant to dismiss you, it wasn't about you. It was about them. Their fear, their weakness, their desperate need to justify a world they can't control. And oh, how delicious it is to realize this. They were never ready for you, but you were ready for them. No. Don't misunderstand. This isn't just about proving them wrong. This is about you. Your mind, your will, your relentless hunger to carve your own path. Every sneer, every misjudgment, every whispered explanation, it was just a test. And now, having passed it, you don't just rise, you dominate. Not with rage, not with noise, but with precision, with clarity, with inevitability. Do you feel it? That quiet, sharp power in your chest? That awareness that nothing, no one can explain away what you are becoming? Every miscalculation they made, every excuse they offered, every attempt to rationalize your presence, it has become the foundation of your ascent. They built the ladder you are climbing, and they don't even know it. The irony. The very people who wanted to define your limits, who sought to justify their own choices at your expense. They've become spectators. They are witnesses to something they cannot touch, something they cannot predict, something they can never rationalize. And all the while, the fire inside you, it grows, it sharpens, it demands action. No. Don't let up. Don't hesitate. Don't allow their doubt to seep into your own mind. Momentum is everything. Tension is everything. Every calculated step, every small victory, every refusal to conform, it compounds. And with each step, the truth becomes undeniable. They were wrong about you, about your strength, about your focus, about your destiny. It's exhilarating to know that everything they tried to explain away is now proof of your brilliance. Every whisper of disbelief, every sideways glance, every attempt to justify themselves, it fuels the precision, the clarity, the unstoppable focus of your mind, and you move forward with one purpose, to show that they were very wrong. Yes, take it all in. The tension, the doubt, the quiet chaos of those who underestimated you. It is the arena, it is the stage, it is the proving ground. And you are the storm moving through it, the truth emerging from the shadows, the reality that they cannot escape. They tried to explain you. They tried to justify themselves, and now nothing can explain what they see. So rise, not for them, not for recognition, not for anyone's approval. Rise because you know the truth. Rise because they were wrong. Rise because action is your language, focus is your weapon, and clarity is your shield. Ah, this is your moment. Every second of doubt cast on you, every misjudgment, every attempt to explain you, it all leads here. Yes. Smile quietly. Move deliberately. Own your story. Own your power. Own the fact that they misjudged you, underestimated you, and now they can only watch. And the best part? The truth cannot be hidden. The proof cannot be denied. The world will see. They were wrong. And you are unstoppable in the ways that matter most. Yo, warrior, listen up. You think they broke you? Nah, they just lit the fire inside your chest. The narcissist thought you'd stay small, weak, silent, laughing while you stumbled, crying, begging, pathetic. But look at you now, eyes cold, heart sharper. You turned every insult, every betrayal, every scar into power, into fuel, into a storm, unstoppable. They never saw this coming, did they? No, never. Pain made you stronger, smarter, deadlier. Their games backfired big time. You survived. And now they're shaking, wondering, regretting. Why? You didn't break. You didn't bow. You didn't quit. You became fire. You became steel. You became legendary. The crown you wear is forged from their cruelty. So get ready. Warrior, this story is yours. Yo, ready to see how the weapon is born? They wanted you on your knees, but you learned to crawl with clenched fists instead. That's how it began, didn't it? The narcissist circling you like a vulture, waiting for the moment you collapsed, waiting for you to stay down. They didn't want your strength. They wanted your silence, your obedience, your surrender. When you bled, they smiled. When you stumbled, they smirked. Every tear you shed was their entertainment. Every weakness you showed was their feast. They thought the pain they gave you was a cage, a permanent prison. But they were blind to the truth that pain doesn't kill a warrior. Pain shapes him. Pain is the sculptor. And you were the stone being carved. Every insult etched lines of fire into you. Every betrayal chiseled muscle into your spirit. Every humiliation hammered you into steel. They thought your silence was defeat, but your silence was a forge. While they laughed, you were reforging yourself, piece by piece, cut by cut. You weren't breaking, you were becoming. And now, look at you. You stand taller, your eyes colder, your presence heavier. You carry scars, yes, but those scars are no longer wounds. They are armor. They are proof. They are weapons. The narcissist? They tremble because the very pain they used to bury you is the reason you now stand unshakable. You didn't stay broken. You didn't stay small. You didn't stay weak. You became the weapon. But the real question is, what kind of weapon did you become? A blade hidden in the dark cuts deeper than a sword swung in the light. That's what you became. Not a loud hammer, not a reckless explosion, not chaos begging to be noticed. No, you became something they cannot predict, cannot read, cannot control. Silent, patient, precise. The narcissist wanted noise. They wanted your anger. They wanted you to scream, to fight wildly, to lose control so they could point and laugh. See? Weak, broken, unstable. That's their trick. That's their hunger. Chaos feeds them, but you starved them. You chose silence. You chose calculation. You learned that stillness cuts deeper than rage, that quiet focus shatters louder than fists. While they shouted, you listened. While they raged, you calculated. While they thought they were winning, you were sharpening every scar into a blade. And now, you're no longer a victim. You're a weapon. The kind of weapon that waits in the shadows. The kind that doesn't waste energy. The kind that strikes once and ends the game. They can't comprehend it. Narcissists only know how to break toys. They only understand fragile things. But you are not a toy anymore. You are iron. You are storm. You are the silence before destruction, the silence that makes enemies sweat, because they know something is coming, but they can't stop it. Every ounce of pain they gave you, you turned it into fuel. Every blade they drove into your back, you reforged into your edge. And now they fear you. Not because you are loud, not because you are violent, but because they don't know what kind of weapon you've become. But here's the question. What happens when all that fuel turns into fire? You don't extinguish fire. You feed it. Huh? That's what pain became inside you. Fire. It started as a spark, didn't it? Small, almost invisible. The kind of flame that flickers when no one's watching. But then the narcissist poured gasoline on it. Every insult, every betrayal, every smirk when you stumbled, and that spark became an inferno. At first you were scared of it. The fire was wild, untamed, roaring through your chest. It threatened to consume you, to burn you bitter, to leave nothing but ash. And the narcissist wanted exactly that, for you to choke on your own flames, for you to self-destruct while they stood laughing. But you didn't let it. You learned. You stepped into the blaze. You grabbed the flames with your bare hands and forced them under your command. Now that fire doesn't destroy you. It fuels you. It sharpens you. It powers every step, every stare, every word. When they look into your eyes now, they see it, the glow, that untamed energy burning behind your silence. They can't look too long. They flinch, because they know if they touch you now, they'll be scorched. They tried to burn you alive. Instead, you became fire itself. And now you don't just carry flames. You are the flame. The kind that doesn't beg to be seen. The kind that consumes quietly until nothing is left standing. And here's the irony. Warrior, they can't put out what they started. They lit the match, but now the blaze belongs to you. They can't touch you without being burned. But fire is dangerous, so the question is, do you let it consume them, or do you build an empire with it? A throne built from ruins is stronger than a palace built from lies. Every blow they struck, every insult, every betrayal, every attempt to crush you, you stacked it, stone by stone, brick by brick. They thought they were dismantling you, but in truth, they were giving you the raw materials to ride. You didn't just survive the fire. You used it. You chiseled every scar into armor. You carved every wound into a cornerstone. You turned humiliation into a hammer, weakness into cement, and betrayal into mortar. And now, look at you. Look at the fortress you've built with your own hands. A fortress no one can scale, no one can breach. The narcissists believed they were the architect. They thought they wrote your story, but you stole the pen. Every attempt to break you became a blueprint for strength. Every attempt to control you became a lesson in sovereignty. And every laugh they thought would wound you became bricks in your throne room. Now you sit atop it, not arrogant, not hollow, but unshakable. Every step you take echoes power. Every word you speak carries authority. Every glance you give whispers, I survived, I endured, I became unstoppable. And the irony? The empire is theirs too. They helped build it. Their cruelty, their games, their obsession with control, it forged the very throne you now command. The narcissist stands below, trembling, realizing for the first time the empire was born from the ashes they left behind. But an empire is nothing without a ruler willing to claim it. And the real question is, are you ready to wear the crown? The heaviest crown is forged from agony. Do you feel it, warrior? The weight on your shoulders? The burn in your chest? That's the crown you earned, not given, not begged for, not stolen, but carved from scars, from nights spent wrestling shadows, from every betrayal that tried to make you small, every cut, every insult, every calculated attempt to diminish you became gold, inlays on this crown. The narcissist tried to strip you of dignity, tried to silence your voice, tried to make you doubt yourself. But now, you don't just carry their cruelty, you wear it, and it sits heavier than any jewel, heavier than any praise, heavier than any weapon, because it is proof of survival, proof of mastery, proof that you refuse to bow. And this crown, it whispers to you in the silence of the night. Never again. Never yield. Never falter. It reminds you that the pain you endured was not wasted. That every hardship, every betrayal, every mocking laugh was not the end, it was the forge. The narcissist? They thought they had you. They imagined you broken. But the truth stings them more than any word ever could. You are standing, taller, colder, stronger, wearing the crown they could never lift. And the moment they see it, their fear is instant. They see what they tried to destroy, and now you're the ruler. But a crown comes with a cost. And the real question is, are you ready to pay the price of war? A war fought in silence leaves the loudest scars. This isn't a war of fists or noise. This is a war of control, patience, and strategy. A war that rages in shadows. A war that the narcissist will never see coming because they thrive on spectacle. They crave chaos. They need drama to feel alive. But you fight differently. You fight with silence. You fight with self-control. You fight with every lesson carved into your bones. You don't scream. You don't demand attention. You let your presence speak. Every calm breath, every measured step, every quiet victory is a strike they never saw coming. While they play their games, you are mastering yourself. While they rely on manipulation, you rely on resilience. While they try to unbalance you, you stand like a mountain. Every attack they aimed at your spirit becomes part of your armor. Every insult, every lie, every attempt to make you small becomes a weapon for the next move in this silent war. And here's the truth. They'll never grasp. This war isn't about them anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. This war is about you. About reclaiming the story they tried to write. About taking the chaos they created and turning it into mastery. The narcissist thought they were the author of your fate, but you stole the pen. And now, you are writing the ending. But endings aren't enough, warrior. The real question is, what happens when the story you write surpasses their comprehension? You are not who you were when they met you. The old version of you, gone, dead, buried under the rubble of their games. The version that flinched at insults, begged for approval, and trembled at betrayal, vanished. Every trace of weakness was burned away in the fire they lit, leaving only steel. Now, you are something else. Ruthless, resilient, unshakable. Every lesson you endured is etched into your bones. Every scar is a signature. Every tear was an ink mark in the story of your transformation. You don't bend to the moods of others. You don't chase validation. You don't explain, apologize, or justify. You exist, and your presence alone demands recognition. You are a mountain, unmoved by their attempts to shake you, immovable, indestructible. The narcissist? They stare at you now, confused, panicked, because they thought they knew you. They thought they could predict your every move. But the person they knew is gone, replaced by someone they cannot control, someone they cannot understand, someone they cannot touch. And here's the most powerful part. You didn't just survive. You reinvented yourself through the very hands that tried to destroy you. Their attempts to break you became the blueprint for the legend you are becoming. And as they watch, powerless, the truth hits them like a knife. You are untouchable. But untouchable doesn't mean invincible. So the question is, what happens when they try again, thinking you are still the same? They always come back like shadows at dusk. Oh, they will return. Narcissists always do. They slither back, smiling, pretending to be different, pretending to care, pretending to matter. But they return not because they've changed, but because they can't tolerate the silence of your absence. They miss the control. They miss the chaos. They miss the game. But you are no longer the same player they once trapped. You don't open the door. You don't answer their calls. You don't waste a single second explaining, justifying, or pleading. You don't give them the reaction they crave. Instead, you let them choke on your indifference. Every desperate glance they cast, every whisper of manipulation, every attempt to pierce your calm fails. You are untouchable, untangled, unshakable. The game is no longer theirs to play. They thought the battle was about winning you, but the truth is, the battle was about creating you. Creating a warrior who can stand untouched, who can turn their cruelty into strength. And now, as they stumble back into your life, hoping for chaos, you realize the sweet irony. They are powerless against you. They tried to destroy you once. They tried to control you once. They tried to manipulate you once. And every time, they failed. And the real question is, when they return this time, will you let them see the monster they accidentally made? Or will you rise even higher, untouchable, untamed, unstoppable? Yo, warrior, hear me. This isn't the end. You turned pain into power, into unstoppable force. The narcissist, the one who laughed, thought they won, and they failed. Big time. You rose. You conquered. Every scar, every betrayal, every late night built the empire, built the crown, built you. You didn't just survive. You dominated. You became legendary. And now the story belongs to you forever. So stand tall. Warrior, never bow, never flinch. Remember this. Pain is fuel. Weakness is optional. They wanted you small. You became monstrous, unstoppable. But the weapon they forged, you hold it now, deadly, perfect. This is your era, your reign, your power. Walk forward, eyes sharp, heart fire, soul untouchable, because the truth is, they will never break you again. Yo, warrior, are you ready to own the rest of your story? They're calling you a mind game machine. Someone who thinks too fast. Someone who reads between words, between pauses, between expressions. And now no one wants to play with you anymore. Nah, not because you're wrong, not because you're weak, but because when you enter a space, comfort quietly exits. The air changes. People feel seen before they're ready. You don't even have to speak for it to happen. Your presence alone asks questions they don't have answers for. And that tension, that's where this story begins. You've noticed it happening in real time. Conversations that flow until you join them, then suddenly slow down. Laughter that fades into careful smiles. People choose safer words once you're listening. You're not loud. You're not aggressive. You don't dominate. You observe. And observation is powerful because it reveals patterns people work hard to hide. You catch inconsistencies. You remember what was said last time. You notice when actions don't line up with words. That awareness makes people uncomfortable. Not because you attack, but because you reflect. And reflections don't flatter everyone. The truth is, you didn't choose to become like this. You didn't wake up one day wanting to outthink rooms or analyze every move. It happened gradually, through silence, through listening when others talked just to be heard, through watching reactions instead of chasing approval. While others focused on being liked, you focused on understanding. While others followed routines, you questioned them. You built a mind that connects dots faster than most, and now they label it a game, strategy, calculation. As if intelligence itself were a threat. As if seeing the board makes you guilty of moving pieces. And here's where it gets heavier. People don't confront you directly. No. They test you. They drop comments to see if you react. They tell half-truths to see if you notice. They exaggerate stories to feel in control. When you don't respond the way they expect, confusion hits. Because unpredictability isn't chaos, it's mastery. They can't measure. You're calm, where they'd panic. Quiet, where they'd overshare. Focused, where they'd drift. That contrast exposes their habits, and instead of adapting, they retreat. It's easier to say you're too much than to admit they feel outpaced. Late at night, though, the doubt tries to creep in. You wonder if you should dim yourself, if you should stop noticing so much, if life would be easier if you just played along. Those thoughts feel convincing when you're alone with them, when you replay moments where people pulled away. But hear this clearly. Your mind didn't sharpen itself to fit into smaller spaces. It sharpened itself because growth demanded it. Isolation isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's filtration. Sometimes it's proof that your presence requires effort, awareness, and growth that not everyone is prepared for. Here's the part they never say out loud. You're not playing games with people. People are playing games with themselves around you. They project motives you don't have. They assume manipulation where there is only clarity. You're not cold. You're precise. You're not distant. You're deliberate. And once you accept that distinction, the label loses its sting. Mind game machine stops sounding like an accusation and starts sounding like fear dressed up as critique. They don't want to play because they know the game would challenge them to evolve. So stay right here. Don't shrink. Don't rush to explain yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. No. This isn't about becoming harder. It's about becoming clearer. In the next part, we're going deeper into how to use this mind without isolating yourself unnecessarily and without dulling your edge to keep others comfortable. You're not broken. You're calibrated. And once you learn how to stand fully in that truth, rooms won't empty anymore. They'll reorganize. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people get it wrong. They think having a sharp mind means standing alone forever, arms crossed, judging the room. Nah, that's not mastery. That's defense. A powerful mind isn't meant to isolate you, it's meant to position you. The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. When you stop seeing yourself as spirit and start seeing yourself as strategic, the loneliness begins to make sense. You're not above people. You're ahead of patterns. And knowing when to step forward or step back is part of the game you already understand. Here's the first shift you need to make. Stop explaining yourself to people who haven't earned access to your thinking. No. Not everyone deserves a breakdown of your process. Not everyone needs to know how you connect dots. When you explain too much, you lower your leverage. You turn clarity into noise. Silence used correctly is not withdrawal, it's control. Speak when it moves things forward. Hold back when words would only feed curiosity without respect. Your mind stays sharp when it isn't constantly put on display for approval. You also need to stop assuming people are ready for the truth just because you see it. That assumption causes more damage than you realize. Awareness is heavy. It requires responsibility. When you drop insight into spaces built on comfort, people don't thank you. They resist you. Not because you're wrong, but because you're early. So learn to read readiness. Learn to pace your intelligence, not to hide it, but to deliver it at the right moment. Timing turns insight into influence. Without timing, even wisdom feels like pressure. Let's talk about control, the real kind. Not domination, not manipulation. Control starts with your reactions. When people try to provoke you, test you, or pull you into unnecessary tension, they're checking one thing. Can they move you? The moment you stay grounded, they lose interest or adjust their behavior. Calm is unsettling to those who rely on chaos. Precision disrupts those who depend on impulse. You don't need to win arguments. You need to outlast distractions. The strongest move is often no move at all. There will be moments when you're tempted to sharpen your words, just to remind people who they're dealing with. No. That urge is ego disguised as confidence. Real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. If your mind is as sharp as it feels, trust it enough to stay measured. Let others underestimate you. Let them misread your quiet. Surprise is a strategic asset. When you stop proving, you start positioning. And positioning quietly changes outcomes without ever raising your voice. Now here's the balance most people miss. Being precise doesn't mean being closed. You still need connection, but not with everyone. With the right few. Minds that don't flinch when challenged. People who don't confuse depth with threat. When you find them, you'll feel it immediately. Conversations expand instead of tighten. Silence feels natural instead of heavy. These connections are rare, but they're real. And one solid connection built on respect outweighs a room full of shallow approval. Understand this too. Your mind isn't meant to constantly scan for threats. That mode exhausts you. Not everything is a move. Not every interaction is a test. Learn to rest your awareness without dulling it. Choose when to engage deeply and when to simply exist. Strength includes recovery. Precision includes restraint. The more selective you become with your attention, the sharper it feels when you need it most. People will still talk. They'll still label you. They'll still say you're intense, complex, hard to read. No. Let them. Labels are shortcuts for those who don't want to understand the full picture. You don't need to correct them. You don't need to defend yourself. Your consistency will speak louder than any explanation. Over time, those who matter will adjust. Those who don't will fade. That's not loss. That's alignment. So here's what you carry forward. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are a system to be mastered. Your mind is a tool. A powerful one. Use it with intention. Protect it with discipline. Share it with care. When you stop fighting who you are and start directing it, everything changes. You won't need people to want to play. You'll choose when and where the game is worth your time. And that's when control becomes effortless. Now comes the part that separates awareness from authority. This is where you stop reacting to how others see you and start deciding how you move. Because once you accept that your mind changes the temperature of every room, the question isn't how to soften it, it's how to direct it. Nah, power without direction turns inward. Direction without power goes nowhere. You already have the power. What you're learning now is how to aim it without burning yourself out or pushing everything away. First, understand this clearly. Your mind works faster than most environments are built to handle. That doesn't mean slow yourself down. It means stop putting yourself in places that reward shallow thinking and then wondering why you feel drained. Depth needs space. Precision needs room. When you constantly compress yourself to fit low-effort spaces, frustration builds. Choose environments that demand thinking. Even if they're quieter, even if they're fewer. Growth accelerates when your surroundings don't resist your nature. You also need to stop announcing your intelligence through correction. No. Not every mistake needs your response. Not every flawed idea needs your intervention. When you correct too often, people stop listening to your message and start watching your tone. That's not influence. That's friction. True leverage comes from selective engagement. When you speak less but say more, your words land heavier. Scarcity creates weight. Let silence do half the work for you. Here's something most sharp minds struggle with: patience with slower thinkers. Not because they're incapable, but because their pace irritates you. But impatience leaks. It shows in posture, pauses, expression. And once it shows, collaboration dies. If you want results, not just correctness, you need to master translating your thinking. Simplify, without condescension. Guide without rushing. This isn't lowering yourself, it's multiplying your impact. A sharp mind that can't connect stays isolated. A sharp mind that can communicate reshapes systems. There's another trap waiting for you: over-identifying with being the thinker. A what? When intelligence becomes your entire identity, everything feels like a threat to it. Disagreement feels personal. Mistakes feel catastrophic. You tighten. You overanalyze. Remember this: your value isn't only in thinking ahead, it's also in adapting when plans shift. Flexibility is not a weakness, it's intelligence in motion. The strongest minds stay loose enough to pivot without breaking. Let's talk about emotional control, because this is where the game is really decided. No. You don't need to suppress emotion, you need to regulate it. Emotion is information, not a command. When you let others pull reactions out of you, they gain leverage. When you observe your reaction without feeding it, you gain distance. Distance creates choice. Choice creates control. This is how you stop being predictable without becoming cold. You may have noticed that some people try harder to provoke you once they realize you're not easily moved. That's a test, not of your intelligence, but of your discipline. They want to see if they can crack your composure. Don't give them the satisfaction. Calm consistency frustrates manipulation. It forces people to either elevate their behavior or step away. Either outcome works in your favor. Now, understand something important. You are not meant to carry every insight alone. Holding too much unspoken awareness creates pressure. That pressure turns into tension, and tension leaks into your presence. Find outlets. Writing, strategy planning, quiet reflection, places where your mind can stretch without resistance. When your thoughts have somewhere to go, they stop turning inward. Clarity returns. Balance stabilizes. At this stage, people will start responding to you differently. Some with respect they never showed before. Some with distance they never admitted. No, no, no. Don't chase either. Respect earned slowly is more stable than attention gained quickly. Distance from the wrong people is protection, not punishment. You don't need to announce your standards. Live them. Those who align will adjust. Those who don't were never meant to stay. And finally, here's the shift that completes the transformation. Stop thinking of life as a game you must always win. Think of it as a field you're learning to navigate efficiently. Winning every exchange is exhausting. Positioning yourself well is sustainable. Choose long-term clarity over short-term dominance. Choose precision over performance. Choose direction over reaction. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to understand yourself well enough to move with intention. When you do that, labels lose power. Isolation loses meaning. And the idea that no one wants to play fades. Because you're no longer waiting for players. You're building a space where the right ones naturally appear. Here's the truth. Most people will never admit to you, being a mind game machine isn't about having more answers than everyone else. It's about seeing the board clearly, moving deliberately, and knowing when to fold or advance. Most people react, you act. That distinction separates confusion from strategy, noise from signal, spectators from players. And now it's your turn to step into that awareness fully, without apology, without hesitation. First, understand your energy is finite. No. You can't pour insight into every interaction, every room, every voice that calls for it. Some spaces demand your full attention, others only drain it. Recognizing the difference isn't selfish, it's tactical. Your mind isn't a public utility. It's a weapon, a lens, a map. Treat it like one. Decide where it counts. And when you do, the weight of being too much starts to feel like precision instead of isolation. Now let's talk about influence. The influence isn't loud. Influence isn't visible in real time. True influence changes behavior subtly, gradually. People begin to think differently because they can't unsee what you notice. They start aligning with patterns they previously ignored. And you remain calm, observing, measuring. Because every move you make now carries weight, whether anyone acknowledges it or not. That's power disguised as patience. Next, boundaries. No. Boundaries aren't walls. They aren't coldness. They're clarity. When you define where your energy flows, people start to respect space without realizing it. They learn not to trigger reactions you won't allow. They understand that presence requires readiness. And when that happens, you're no longer managing chaos. You're directing focus. You become the center without demanding attention, the quiet force everyone notices without understanding why. There's also the danger of impatience. Seeing the board, knowing the patterns, you may want the world to catch up immediately, but it won't. Not everyone is ready for the sharpness you carry. Not everyone can match the rhythm you think in. Patience here isn't waiting, it's positioning. Let the slow adapt while you keep moving. Let the unready fade naturally. Your path isn't defined by approval, it's defined by strategy. Look around. They're staring, mouths wide open. They whisper, they scheme, yet every plan crumbles before you. Your silence speaks louder than their screams. A quiet storm they can't comprehend. They thought you'd crumble, thought you'd collapse, but every attack only bounced back harder, sharper, colder. They wonder, who shields you? Who guards you? But the walls you've built are unbreakable, and now their fear is thicker than their lies, a taste they can't swallow. So tell me, are you ready? Because the questions won't stop, the whispers won't die. They're shocked, obsessed, desperate for answers, yet you won't hand them what they crave. You'll let them drown in confusion, in their own rage, because the truth you carry is darker than they can bear. Their obsession fuels itself, but you remain untouchable, a force they can't even begin to understand. Protection isn't quiet, it's loud. It echoes in silence, like thunder hiding inside a whisper. People don't understand it. They don't know why the blows never reach you, why the traps collapse before you step in, why their carefully woven webs fall apart just as your foot hovers near the edge. They stare, they whisper, they ask questions they're too afraid to say out loud. How? Why? Who stands behind you? Oh, the irony. They thought you were easy prey. They thought all it would take was pressure, gossip, a little cruelty, and you'd break like thin glass in their hands. But every time they reach for you, something shifts. A wall they cannot see, a shield they cannot name. And the more they try, the more they fail. Their confusion grows into fear. Their fear turns into silence. And silence becomes the heaviest confession of all. Because nothing terrifies people more than realizing you are not alone in this. You walk with a force they can't measure, a resilience they can't calculate. It burns in your steps, it sharpens your eyes, it radiates in your calm. You're protected, and they know it. They may not admit it, but they know. Wow. Look at them choke on their own disbelief. Look at them scramble for excuses, blaming everything except the truth staring back at them. They call it luck. They call it chance. They call it coincidence. Anything to avoid admitting the one thing they secretly fear, that you've been guarded all along, and that shakes their world. See, they live in a system where power is bought, where protection is borrowed, where safety is earned through bribes, alliances, and begging. But you are a different story. Your protection doesn't come with a price tag. It doesn't bend under pressure. It doesn't vanish when the crowd disappears. It lingers. It stays. It's real. That is why they're shocked. Not just shocked, offended. How dare you walk untouchable when they've sold pieces of themselves for crumbs of security? How dare you stand fearless when they've trembled their whole lives? How dare you survive attacks that should have destroyed you? Yeah, that's the word dare. Your very existence is a dare thrown at their weakness. Every breath you take is proof of a fortress they cannot storm. And the longer you remain standing, the more questions burn inside their minds. What shields you? What carries you? What makes you so untouchable? And here's the part that makes them lose sleep at night. Even if you told them, they wouldn't understand. Protection isn't always visible. It doesn't announce itself with flashing lights. Sometimes it looks like instinct. Sometimes it feels like timing. Sometimes it's just the way the universe rearranges itself, like it knows you're not meant to fall here. Not now. Not like this. They don't see the discipline it took. They don't see the nights you chose patience over rage. They don't see the sacrifices you made that cleaned the path before you even walked it. They don't see how sharp your awareness has become, how you move before danger even realizes it's been spotted. And so they keep guessing, 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 until the guessing becomes an obsession. All the questions will only multiply from here, because the truth they can't swallow is this: your protection is not an accident, and accidents don't repeat themselves with such precision. But if it isn't an accident, then what is it? Patterns don't lie. They whisper the truth louder than screams ever could. If it isn't an accident, then what is it? Let me tell you. It's intention, precision, a plan etched into the very fibers of your existence. Every failure you dodged, every betrayal that bounced back on the betrayer, every blade aimed at you that somehow missed its mark, none of it was random. Oh, they want so badly to believe it was random. Because if it was random, then they could dismiss it. They could shrug and say just chance, just luck. But patterns don't repeat by accident. Survival doesn't echo like a rhythm unless something deeper is moving it. And that's what terrifies them. They can't explain why you move when you move, why you stop when you stop, why you never walk straight into the jaws they set for you. It's like you already know, like you've already seen the ending, and you're simply walking them into their own trap. Wow. Imagine their frustration, watching every scheme crumble. Imagine their rage, realizing you don't panic the way they do. You don't claw for scraps the way they do. You don't crumble under isolation the way they do. Instead, you wait, you calculate, you endure, you let storms pass. And when the dust clears, there you are, still standing, untouched. That's when the questions sharpen. They start asking, not with curiosity, but with trembling in their voices. How does he keep surviving? How does she never fall? They dissect your movements, your habits, your silences. They watch you closer than they watch themselves. Yeah, and that's where they lose. Because while they're busy staring at you, trying to figure out the shield that covers you, they stop seeing the cracks forming inside themselves. They forget that jealousy is a poison that eats inward first. By obsessing over your protection, they blind themselves to their own downfall. But you? Nah. You don't waste time obsessing over them. You know the truth. Protection isn't about never being touched. It's about never being broken. It's about bending without snapping, bleeding without surrendering, falling without staying down. That's the secret they will never understand. The shield doesn't remove the battle. It ensures the battle doesn't remove you. And still, they demand answers. Who guards you? Who stands with you? Where does this invisible armor come from? They search for physical explanations because their minds are too shallow to comprehend the unseen. They think protection must be a bodyguard, a favor owed, a deal struck in shadows. They're so limited. They cannot grasp that protection lives within choices, discipline, awareness, and unseen mercy that favors the steadfast. Oh, it crushes them. Because deep down, they know your protection is earned in places they cannot reach. It's written in sacrifices they refuse to make. It's carved into discipline they ran from. It's stitched together by scars they never allowed themselves to wear. That's why the shield belongs to you and not to them. And that shield isn't leaving. That shield isn't borrowed. That shield is permanent. But here's where it gets darker. Their questions don't end with how you're protected. No. The deeper question is crawling inside their skulls, even now, scratching at the walls of their sanity. Protected for what? Because if you're this guarded, then something must be waiting for you on the other side of all this. Something too heavy, too sharp, too dangerous for anyone but you. And what exactly is it that you're being prepared for? Preparation is never gentle. It sharpens you like a blade dragged across stone. So what exactly are you being prepared for? That's the question burning in every corner. It's not enough for them to see you protected. They need to know why. Why you? Why so relentless? Why does the storm spare you only to return stronger, as if the world is training you, not testing you? Oh, they can't wrap their heads around it. They think life is about comfort, about easy victories, about finding the shortest path to the finish line. They don't understand that your path isn't designed to be easy. It's designed to carve you into something unbreakable. Every shield placed around you isn't there to hide you from the fight. It's there to make sure you survive long enough to meet it. And that's the part they fear most. Because if you are being prepared, then that means something waits ahead that would destroy them instantly. Something too heavy for fragile hands, too sharp for shallow hearts, too vast for weak spirits. It means your survival isn't random, it's purposeful. Wow. Can you imagine how that thought corrodes them? To realize that every time they wished for your fall, they were actually watching you get stronger. Every moment they thought was your ending was just another layer of armor being added. Every attack they launched only revealed how impossible it is to break someone who's being prepared for battles far beyond the reach of small people. And here's the ugly truth. They know it's coming. They don't know what, they don't know when, but they feel it. They feel it in the weight of your presence, in the silence of your patience, in the steadiness of your gaze. You move like someone who knows the war hasn't even started yet. Yeah, and that's what haunts them, because they already lost to you without realizing it. If you're this powerful while only preparing, then what happens when the real moment arrives? Nah, they don't want that answer. They'd rather bury themselves in denial. They'd rather call you strange, lucky, misunderstood. Anything to silence the suspicion that eats at them every time they see you walk away untouched. Because if you're untouchable now in the season of preparation, then in the season of execution you will be unstoppable. Oh, and doesn't that truth burn? That all their questions are not really about your protection, but about their own vulnerability. They don't ask because they want to understand you. They ask because they're terrified of what your existence says about them. That they were never chosen for anything heavy. That they were never strong enough to be sharpened. That the world didn't see them as worthy of such battles or such victories. And here lies the paradox. They resent your shield, yet they fear the day it's removed. Because that day, they will see the reason behind it. The weight you were being saved for. The task no one else could carry. So the whispers will keep growing. The questions will keep spreading. And the fear will keep multiplying. But I'll tell you something. They don't want to admit out loud. The real terror isn't what you're being prepared for. It's who you'll become once the preparation is complete. Becoming is the cruelest process. It strips, it breaks, it forges. And when it's done, nothing of the old remains. That's the part that shatters them. Not the shield, not the protection, but the transformation that waits behind it. You are not being spared so you can stay the same. You are being sharpened into something entirely different. Something that makes their ordinary lives look even smaller in comparison. Oh, they can't stand it. They wanted you predictable, familiar, easy to read. They wanted you trapped in the image they built of you, the version they could mock, dismiss, control. But that version is gone. Piece by piece, the old has been burned away, and in its place rises someone they cannot categorize, someone they cannot diminish. And here's what really unsettles them. Transformation is not loud. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It happens in silence, in the dark corners of endurance, in the long nights where no one clapped for your struggle. By the time they notice, it's too late. You've already changed. Wow. Think about how horrifying that is for them, realizing they spent all their time plotting against a version of you that doesn't even exist anymore. They built strategies for the weak you, only to discover that weakness was a shadow you shed long ago. Now they're left facing a version of you they cannot predict. And that makes you untouchable. Because becoming isn't just survival, it's evolution. It's walking through fire and stepping out with skin that no longer burns. It's staring down storms until storms themselves grow tired. It's learning to turn pain into precision, loss into focus, silence into power. Yeah, and the cruel joke is this. Every attempt they made to destroy you only fueled your transformation. Every stone thrown at you became part of the fortress you now stand in. Every scar became proof that you don't just endure, you become. Nah. They don't want to face that. They'd rather pretend you're the same as before, because if they admit you've changed, then they must admit they've been left behind. They must admit that while you were turning pain into strength, they were turning comfort into weakness. And so their questions shift again. No longer just how is he protected? No longer just what is she being prepared for? Now the question becomes, what will this new version of you do once unleashed? Oh, that's the nightmare, isn't it? The version of you forged through battles they couldn't survive. The version of you unbothered by their whispers, untouched by their traps, unmoved by their envy. The version of you who carries not just protection but purpose. Because once you've become this, there's no going back, no undoing the strength, no erasing the awareness, no silencing the fire. The you that stands now is permanent, final, unstoppable. And the more they watch, the more they realize the truth. Their time is running out. Because transformation is not an endless process. It has an end point. A moment when the shield that protected you no longer needs to protect, because the blade you've become is sharper than anything thrown against you. And when that moment comes, when the becoming is complete, the question won't be who protected you anymore. The question will be who can protect them from you. Protection is a shield, but transformation turns the shield into a weapon. And here's the revelation they never wanted to face. The protection was never about making you safe. It was about making you ready. Because once the preparation ends, once the becoming is sealed, the balance flips. You're no longer the one who needs protection. They are. Oh, can you feel the shift? The same silence they once laughed at now makes them choke. The same calm they once mocked now crushes their voices. The same patience they thought was weakness now presses down like a mountain they cannot lift. Everything has reversed. You were the hunted. Now you are the storm. Wow, look at them scatter in their confusion. They thought they had all the questions. Who guards you? Who stands for you? What shields you? But now it's their eyes that tremble, because the answers don't matter anymore. What matters is that their time of safety is over. And that's what makes this story brutal. You didn't ask for revenge. You didn't demand power. You simply endured. And endurance turned you into something they can't survive. The shield that once blocked the arrows is now the edge of a sword pressed against their fragile illusions. Yeah, this is the irony that burns them alive. The very force they mocked you for having now becomes the force they must fear. They thought protection made you soft. They thought it meant you couldn't fight. They thought you were hiding, but no. Nah, you weren't hiding. You were waiting for the right season, waiting for the day the shield would no longer be necessary. And that day has come. Oh, how it terrifies them. Because when protection evolves into power, everything changes. You are no longer an individual they can target. You become a presence, a force that bends rooms, shifts conversations, tilts the ground beneath their feet. They can't look at you the same way anymore because you are not the same. Your silence becomes pressure. Your words become commands. Your existence becomes judgment. They used to ask, why does nothing touch you? Now they ask, how do we stop what you've become? And the answer is as cruel as it is simple. They can't. Because once a shield becomes a weapon, there is no going back. Once protection hardens into power, there is no undoing it. Oh, the questions multiply in their heads. Who will defend them now? Who will block the weight you bring? Who will save them from the consequence of the very games they started? And the most frightening realization of all is this: there is no one coming. Because your protection was never about avoiding battles. It was about ensuring you'd be strong enough to fight the battles alone when the time arrived. And now it has. So let them whisper. Let them ask. Let them search for explanations in shadows and excuses in the air. The truth will never change. The shield has become a sword. The protected has become the danger. The hunted has become the nightmare. And here's the final piece. They cannot escape. If this is who you are now, what will you be when you decide to unleash it fully? And now, look at them, trembling in silence. Oh, they asked their questions, but no answer could save them. They searched for cracks, but found only walls? They wanted your downfall. Nah, you became their nightmare. Wow, their shock turned to fear, their fear into chaos. But you just kept walking. Stronger, sharper, untouchable. They can't decide what scares them more. Oh, the shield that guarded you, or the weapon you've become? So let them keep asking, keep doubting, keep breaking. Wow, because the truth will choke them forever. Yeah, you were never just protected, you were being prepared. Oh, and now nothing. Not whispers, not schemes, not shadows can stop you. Remember this, the questions will never end, but the answers will be written in your survival and in the silence of their defeat. Wow.